Yeah.
Difference between males and females in the administration of medicine.
Did you all hear the question? Medicine is administered by a male or a female, and the difference is what implications that has. I mean, male and female are different, dramatically different on some levels. And I think most of us in the culture in which we've grown up in, wherever our culture is in the world today, are treated to a lot of confusion about what the difference is and what the similarities, what is the same and what is different amongst males and females. So there is a difference, you know, how much that may play in the part of a medicine, that's a pretty subtle aspect. So in some cases I should imagine it would. I wouldn't ordinarily give that much credence to it being dramatically different. But you know, I certainly recognize that possibility. You know, traditionally, from the Hakim's point of view, the women were the protectors and the ones who conveyed the traditional medicine in many respects. And in a lot of the cultural traditions, like Iran and some of these places, even sometimes Pakistan, even here in America, amongst Native Americans, it's very often the women who sustain and still protect some of the traditions that get lost more and more and more and more. And they because one of the reasons is, one, because women tend to be more, I'm going to say, before today or tomorrow's over, I'm going to say a lot of things about men and women that a lot of people will disagree with. But the women are really more closer naturally to wisdom and a genuine spiritual reality than men are. They have easier access to it. So they recognize wisdom and the truth of it more easily than men do. So right there already, a lot of you are not. So I just thought I'd jump into the deep end there and just come out and say it. But they're also raising children. And so that means and that's part of the reason they have this immediate Allah placed them in that place. And there are hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that point to what I'm talking about. And one of the most dramatic one is when he passed a group of women and he made a statement, something to the effect of saying that, you know that they have dominion over me. And Rumi made comments about that in his Mathnavi. In his Mathnavi, Rumi explained that as saying that the Prophet, peace be upon him, recognized the innate, natural, God-given spirituality of woman that really placed them over men in some ways. And that men had to work at that and really men have a responsibility to learn from women that which they don't have natural, immediate and easy access to. And most of them learn it from their mother or a woman that acts as their mother or someone else in that stead. But if they don't get it, they will not have it. And this, I will tell you right now, I'll jump ahead to the trauma piece. We are suffering in the age in which we live because we have been separated from our mothers to such an incredible degree. Okay, that's I'm jumping ahead. But so yes, women are different. And you know, it's last night at the lecture last night I was talking about a man I flew with on the plane, and I could tell he was really close to his mother. And I said to him, your mother makes really good food, doesn't she? And he said, yeah. And I said, when she makes something, it's better than when anyone else makes it, isn't it? He said, yeah. And I said, yeah, I can tell that. Because he had a sensitivity to his being. He had feeling in his being. I could tell he was close to his mother. And he said, you know, I said, you're close to your mother. And I said, that's a really good thing. You know, that's a gift. Because it's something that's frowned upon in this culture. And he said, yeah, everybody says to me, you know, you've got to cut the umbilical cord sometime. And I said, yeah, well, you cut the umbilical cord when you're born. That doesn't mean you can't be close to your mother for your entire life. But most men are not only frowned upon if they do that, they're looked down upon and actually forced to be removed from their mothers with this idea that they'll become wusses or pussies, as they say. You know, that they'll grow up as a sissy or something, you know? And this is not the way of the Prophet. I mean, he was close to, he had Halima. Where was his father? Huh? Where was his father? Is this not an important piece of information? So yes, I mean, yeah, women, I mean, yeah, I think women are great physicians naturally. And a woman can be a healer just by her hand. And men, I will say this, I'll go so far as to say this, and I'm not the only physician historically that said this, that the best healers amongst the men are the ones who have developed that part of their being in the same way. But men have to work at that, and it's hard work because it goes against so much of what you find in culture that tells you not to. And then you have the men's movement in which men become sensitive, and they say, well, I'm sensitive and I feel a lot and I've developed my feminine aspect, meaning I can cry and I can get angry. But it's not about that, it's bigger than that. So we'll talk about that again later, about feeling.